Singapore. So let's wait to see what happened in history.
让我们有请李俊贤。
大家都说他们之前有去新加坡。
大家好，我叫李俊贤。My name is Junxian. Like they introduced, I'm from Singapore. I'm from National University of Singapore. I want to raise something. I think it's really interesting today to hear from the other speakers today. It seems like a lot of the way we think is very similar, and I learned a lot from their stories. So today I'm here to share my story, and I hope that from my story you can maybe find a little bit of inspiration from it. I'm going to share 3 lessons I've learned from my time as a student, from my time working with a corporation, as well as from my time starting my own business. These are the lessons. Number 1, follow your heart. Number 2, try. The last lesson that I hope to share with you is be, do, have. What does it mean to follow your heart? Well, in the first year of my studies, I was faced with a very, very big and monumental choice, which I think since most of you here are students, you probably face the same thing. What is that? Well, basically what student society to join. Well, if you're fresh like me or you have no work experience, this choice is extremely important because it's like a very important first step. Being from the business school, the clubs that I thought I really wanted to join would be like an investment club, consulting club, maybe the students' union, that kind of thing. So I want you guys to imagine this now. Like imagine like a hall, a big hall, and lining the halls are booths. So booth, 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 booth. And then each booth is from one student society, and there's a lot of music, loud music, a lot of flags going on, a lot of supporters, a lot of hordes of people walking around asking you, come, join me, join my club, that kind of thing. So anyway, I walked around the hall, and at the corner of my eye, maybe like in this corner, I saw one desk, one small desk, one person at the desk. Kind of different from everybody else because there was so much noise and so much pompous going on everywhere else, but here was one guy, one desk. So anyway, I walked over and I wanted to lend him support, right? Because quite poor thing, nobody would talk to him. So I go over and he stood up, he shook my hand, and he says, "Hi, my name is Ziyong. I don't have a club, but I have a vision." So this is kind of interesting. Anyway, we sat down, he talked to me, he introduced himself, and he talked about his vision. He said that I want to start a club, and the club would marry 2 ideas, the ideas of business, starting a business, as well as community causes. This is what I want to do. So I was thinking to myself, wow, great, here's a guy he doesn't have a club and he only has a dream. I thought about it and at first it didn't make sense, but I think I related a little bit to what he was saying, the ideas of business, the ideas of helping the society or doing something social. So I stayed on, and after a while, ultimately, I penned my name down on a piece of paper. Well, the list had so many names on it. 0. Yeah, so my name was the only name, my name was the first name, and it was probably the last name. Looking forward, fast forward, we would go on to create a club called NUS SIFE, National University of Singapore Students in Free Enterprise. The club would go on to grow into active membership size of about 500 to 700 people, one of the bigger clubs in the NUS Business School. We will hold projects across Southeast Asia, sending teams to relief efforts and all that. The mantra, the whole motto, the idea of NUS SIFE was basically give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. So what does that all mean? I want to share with you an example of one of the projects we did. Anybody know of the tsunami in 2004 that hit the Indian Ocean, claimed about 300,000 lives? Okay, I see a lot of heads nodding, so you guys are familiar with it. But I want to share this story because this story is kind of important to me. It kind of signifies who I am as a person, what I learned during this time. So basically, tsunami hit, right? So a lot of people were dead. So we basically, the side thing, we set up a small task force. We went to the School of Engineering, went to the School of Science, we got technology, how to create seawater into body soap. So our whole team went over to the small village in Sumatra in Indonesia. We worked with the local government, the local mayor actually, set up a company. This company would basically produce soap from seawater. And the people we hired, orphans, widows. Why? Where did all the men go? Well, in this village, all the men were fishermen and all of them were taken away by the tsunami. So only orphans and widows were left. You fast forward again, 5 years later. What is this company doing now? The company is doing really, really well. It's selling a wide array of stuff, not just soap, like a full range of body care products. And I think this really encompasses the idea of teaching a man to fish, right? If we had collected money and give it to the Red Cross and says like, do something with this money, would we have this kind of impact? I don't think so. Yeah, so teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. So why am I talking about this? On a personal level, with this club, I would go on to become the president of the club. We would represent the National University of Singapore and Singapore in global competitions. This club led me to start my first business. And ultimately, I think through this, we help better a lot of lives. I think that's the most important thing. Bring it all back. What does this have to do with following your heart? If you think about all this stuff that I just told you, it all came from one point. That one day, I was sitting in a hall with a guy. None of it makes sense, but I chose to follow my heart. I think one day, you guys will face the same stark decision. Your head will tell you one thing. Your logic will tell you like, do this, but you feel something nagging inside and you want to do something else. That is your gut feeling. My advice to you is follow your heart. Why? Because the day I chose to follow my heart, I made a commitment to myself. This doesn't make sense. Logic says that it doesn't make sense, but I have to make it work because I've chosen. Right? So that's the first lesson. Follow your heart. So I hope that you guys give me like a few minutes. I'm going to introduce very briefly what I do and what we do now. And I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this in a little while. This is our cafe. This particular one is in the NUS Business School. These are our staff. We have staff from all over Southeast Asia, like Snow is from Myanmar, Philippines. He's from Malaysia. Li Chao is from China. And the rest of them are Singaporeans. This is an example of the food we serve. Some of the beverages we serve. This is like our specialty house lemon tea, iced lemon tea, and the latte we serve. Company structure, very simple. Like we have one company, we have 2 cafes under Ritz Cafe, and we have 2 cafes under the Super Snacks brand. So what does this all mean? Why am I telling you this? Well, because this is important because it's going to lead to my second lesson I'm going to tell you, and that is try. Okay, try. How does this encompass the lesson of try? Well, basically the idea or the process of me starting my business all the way to bringing it to what it is today, like 5 outlets, not that big, but still okay, is encompassed by this word, try. Who knows Zhang Zihua? Zhang Zihua. He's from High Story Cafe. He's one of the founders of High Story Cafe over at Fudan University. He's also one of the pioneers of Lang Cao magazine. And I hear he's quite active with TEDx Fudan. So like Zhang Zihua, I started my first cafe in my 2nd year of undergraduate studies. So it's been like a really long time now. Anybody interested in like listening how to start a cafe? Okay, everybody wants to start a cafe. Okay, so basically my story is like this. NUS one day decided that they wanted to start an area for student enterprise to encourage students to start their own thing, like 白手企业, like for startups basically, right? So my friend and I, like we were really active at the school, so we decided why not give it a shot. This friend I'm talking about came from NUS Science, right? So one thing leads to another. My first partner was on NUS Science. The idea was very simple. It wasn't a cafe. My first business wasn't a cafe. It was a console gaming shop. Console gaming is like Xbox, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, that kind of stuff. So if you open a console gaming shop, in a hostel like Beiqu or something, it's sure to make money. Yeah, everybody would go because the target market is right and these people are spending power. So why try? Well, I remember a very, very important moment that encompasses this word. Imagine this today, you and me. You start a company, you have to sign away. It comes a time where you have to sign a check, right? To pay for all these things that you've bought. And the check is like your entire life savings. Think about it, would you sign away your entire life savings for a chance? Let's say you're 25 years old, would you sign away 25 years of your life saving for a chance? What kind of chance you don't even know? Well, I think the most important thing about entrepreneurs is this word, try. Oftentimes it doesn't make sense, yeah, but because you're overly optimistic, maybe you can't understand logic or something, but you always try. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, this word is very, very important, try. In life, also it's very important, try. Why? There's a second part to my story. All along when I was doing my businesses, I was also working full-time. I was doing marketing for the University of Singapore. And subsequently, because I was kind of like motivated by this word to try different things, I quit doing marketing in National University of Singapore and I joined a bank, major financial institution. How many of you here wants to do IB, investment banking? Oh, nobody. Okay, it's kind of surprising for me. But anyway, so to me, because I'm a business school student, this is one of the most sexy things to do. Yeah, become an investment banker, earn a lot of money. So to try, that's what I did. I quit my job and I made many, many deals for the bank. I earned what I consider to be an outrageous amount of money. I clocked maybe 19 hours a day. I worked 10 a.m. until 5 a.m. the next day, 7 days a week. So earn a lot of money, spend even more money, and I lost track of all my days this way. Why is this important? Because the idea of try doesn't work one way, it works two ways. When you try, you learn about something you like. Sometimes it affirms one belief, but when you try, sometimes it tells you this is not what you want to do. For me, working in a financial institution, it taught me that this wasn't what I want to do. I started seeing people in terms of values, like my good friends, for you, example. I look at you and I think, what are you worth to me? I ask about your family, ask about your brother, what does your sister do, what is your family business, and a value will come out of your head because I'm looking for my next deal. So, after a while, I decided this was not for me. Surely there's more to life than looking at money every day. So I left the bank and I joined a non-profit organization called CASE, which is the second largest non-profit organization of its sort in the world, and it's based in Washington, D.C. Through that, I went to various countries and got to know about education, and it's through this I got to know about how deeply I cared for education. And this would eventually lead me to shape the way I look at life and the way I run my business. This is my partner, Mr. Junxian. Why I put this is because if I didn't try, give it the first shot, I would never have met him, and if I never met him, I would never have known that I would have a business, or I would quit all my work to join him one day. So remember, always try. Try as much as you can. Sometimes it won't make sense, but just try, because with more information, with more experience, you can make better choices. I want to talk about this lastly. This is the last thing I have for you. Be to have. And to illustrate my point, I want to share a very typical conversation I have with my friends. I would ask my friends, maybe some of you are in the middle of jobs, some of you are going to graduate. I'm sure you have this conversation. One friend will ask you, what do you want to do? Well, for my friends, typically they'll say, I want to work in a bank. Why? Because I want to earn more money. Why do you want to earn more money? So that I can retire early and maybe ultimately give money to poor, disabled children, and that kind of stuff. So what is the problem with this? The problem with this is that you put what you ultimately want to be at the back when it should be in front. If you have never tried this exercise before, I urge you to try. Sit down, think about what you want to be when you retire. What do you want to do? Maybe you want to help children. Maybe you want to give to education or something. But think about it and then consider what kind of journey you want to take towards it. So the model that you should be considering is this. Be to have. Be the person that you want to be ultimately. Think about what motivates you and all that kind of things. Do things that are relevant to you, to your values and beliefs, and ultimately you will find that you have financially and spiritually all that you need. This is what we do for our cafe, like, because we do have, I have to show you how I do it myself, right? As a businessman and for us as a business. We support projects, we actively look for projects, like the BizEd charity run, basically gathering like 700 to 1,000 people. We bring them like a competitive run around the campus, and we raise money. Every single cent goes to the community for it. Other things that we do would be like sponsoring bursaries with schools to the most financially needy students. So remember, be, do, and naturally you will have. The last thing I want to share with you is like a quote I read in his book, and it's good to end with a quote. Life is kind of like a car, and if death is your destination, don't focus too much on the destination. If you're driving, like open the window, feel the breeze on your face, smell the fresh air, enjoy the scenery along the road, because ultimately the journey is the reward. So yeah, this is my story, and I share it with you because it's real. Thank you.